Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Speak Easy podcast. I am Muggzey,
I'm Nevrleye.
and we are brothers.
We're brothers.
Not blood brothers, but I've known this little motherfucker his entire life. So this motherfucker is he's my blood brother. So we're gonna be starting a new podcast. This is the first ever podcast. How you feeling about it?
I'm feeling pretty good, Muggzey. I'm not gonna lie. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and just being here right now with all this professional equipment is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they can't see it, but you got a dope ass setup, man. Like I'm kind of jealous because all I had was a rock and a stick.
A rock and a really?
Yeah, I mean that's how that's how it was. I was a '90s baby. But so basically, we're gonna be covering a couple of topics. It's gonna be scatterbrained while we try and get your guys' opinion and stuff like that, right? We're not gonna have any set schedules as of right now. I think we're gonna try and post. I don't know. We haven't even talked about it. It's just set up the camera and we're trying to get it going. So what do you think as far as schedule wise, so our viewers could know?
I'm thinking probably during the weekdays, just so that we could have the quietness that we have now. Nothing during family time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
of
that we have the
course.
house to ourselves to be able to do something like this.
For sure. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. So just let us know, post down in the comments, and if you like our content. We're just starting. We do make content outside of this. It's just we've always, connected and vibed. We've always had deep conversations, and we figured we would bring it to you guys, right? All right,
Absolutely.
so today we're going to be talking about relationships and where we stand and where you as the audience stands. Hopefully we can get some engagement and answer some questions. I'm pretty up there in age. I know I don't look it, but I'm old. So I've been around the block, and we kind of have conflicting views. Because me currently right now in my life, I am not looking for literally anything. I don't want any friends with benefits. I don't want any, hey, how you doing, booty calls at 2 a.m. I don't want any, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm currently not active in the dating scene, and that's strictly just how I feel. Like, how do you feel about it so far?
I'm not too sure actually. When it comes to relationships, I'm a person who kind of relies on love. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go around searching for it all the time. But if I see an opportunity, I'll most likely shoot my shot.
Okay. What are you kind of looking for? Like, I know you're younger than me, drastically younger than me, but not like Stop recording. Right. So basically, you're saying like, not that you're reliant on love. Well, you did say reliant, but you're looking for it actively, and that's not a bad thing, because we have a big age gap, and like I understand people transition in life to different stages, and I never thought that I would be single, ready to mingle, but not ready to mingle, kind of like a Pringle, the last Pringle. So like, it's weird for me, but I think that that's what makes our relationship good when we talk about this kind of stuff, because I'm one spectrum, and I can kind of not push you towards my ideals, but kind of give you the insight like, hey, I personally don't feel like you need anybody to make yourself feel like whole as a person. You know what I mean?
In regards to relationships, it's hard to say where I stand, mainly because through so many relationships, it becomes difficult to identify what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you've been through so many of them. I've been through online, I've been through offline, physical, non-physical, you know what I'm saying? But it's really hard to say like what varies what you want in a relationship when you've been through so much.
Yeah, because my situation. Like, I'm a single father, for anybody who doesn't know. And that was a hard transition. I think that was a huge chunk of what made me decide I don't need no woman, you know what I'm saying? Because it was along the lines of like, I was looking for a mother figure for my kid since she was lacking it. And in my background, I didn't have my mother around because she did the same thing my baby moms did. She dipped, you know the story, but just for our viewers. And like, I've experienced so many different types of relationships. Like you said, you had the online, you had the in-person, non-person, texting, stuff like that. I've experienced all that up until the point where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no more. I do not want it. Like, what would you say kind of keeps you grounded, still looking for this? Because I know I snip, I'm done. But what do you think keeps you coming back for more, I guess?
What keeps me going is mainly my compassion for love. I absolutely adore the image of like sitting down with someone special and being able to converse with them and hang out with them like it's nothing. And another thing that keeps me going is how much I lost my train of thought.
I was way too prepared for sex.
Okay, well, you did.
So that makes sense. You know, you're still out there. You're still young. You're still vibrant. You're still so strong. Look at them muscles. Hit them up on Tinder. No,
What the hell?
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. You're still into the compassionate side of things. And that's good, yo, because I really feel like in relationships, men should be seeking, you know, but because we're always looking for a mate. Like, we can do 90% of the things on our own, but when it comes to like, no, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say when it comes to decorating, but then someone's gonna be like misogynist. But I believe that everyone should have their own role to play in the relationship. Don't get me wrong, but everyone should be able to reach outside of the box. I'm not a misogynist.
That's
So
fair. That's
it's like it makes it. There's woman energy, there's female energy, and there's male energy. Not saying that that's how it should always be. People, I'm just saying in general, a man needs the feminine energy in order to succeed in life when you're in that stage, you know, and I understand where you're coming from with that, you know, because you still want the compassion from the female, you know, because it makes sense. That's what makes guys feel nice and strong, and that's why I'm overweight, you know. So.
Where did the overweightness come from?
But it comes from, like, because I know you were going through something recently, so if you'd like to talk about it, that's cool.
No, I don't want to bring any names.
Cool, yeah. No, of course not. No names at all. But my last situation was I wasn't ready for a commitment. You know, I was still kind of testing the waters, like, hey, what's up? I'm still here, like showing up and stuff, casually dating. And then it got to the point where it was like, I started looking around, you know, and I'm like, I don't really want to be here. You know, and that's like a bad feeling. I don't know if you've ever experienced that while in a relationship.
Yeah, actually, with my last, with my ex, her name is, well, not her real name, not her real name, but her alias is Ray.
Okay. Ooh, like Evangelion Ray.
I guess, but bitch. Basically, I guess I could go into like my point of view on what I feel like happened during the end of it.
Okay, yeah.
But I definitely feel like at some point she's gonna come out and be like, "Oh, he did this, he did that," and I'm gonna be like, "That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit."
Well, that's another thing too, is the toxicity afterwards. You can always tell when a relationship ends, right? At least in my opinion, because I try and end things on a good note. But when relationships fall apart and fucking literally explode, you can tell who really had ill intentions. Because I've had terrible experiences with breaking up with people, and then it's just like they're like this fucking switch. You know what I'm saying? Like a switch in their head, they become Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's crazy. But your last situation was kind of like that, right? Like she kind of like switched.
Yeah, it was an 11-month relationship. It was all online though. She was in Canada, not going to specify where.
In the boreal forest. Build it fucking yeah.
But it was a good relationship for most of it until eventually I started realizing, like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not really doing well within the relationship, and I'm realizing that actively. But I stayed in a relationship just to
because you were maybe because you were seeking it too, right? Like that's something that you ultimately want at the end of the day, right?
I guess, but also I didn't want to just drop something with just one thought, so I kept it in the back of my mind, and I kept showing her my appreciation as much as I could. But eventually I was like, I'm not doing enough anymore. It's obvious I'm losing interest. So maybe the mature thing to do is, instead of continuing the relationship that's only going one-sided her way, end it.
And that's from a young man, bro. Some of you grown men need to understand your value and your worth and what you bring to a relationship. If you're sitting there and you're saying, oh, like, I don't have a job, or I'm just sitting around doing nothing, and you're not showing up as a partner for that relationship, like, you need to be able to cut strings. And my little brother is able to do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's something that I feel like everyone needs to be able to do. Like, I know my worth. So it's like the 3-strike rule. We were talking about this the other day. You do one thing I don't like, and it's like I chop it up. And it's not just like you chew loudly. You know what I'm saying? Or you snore, or like your feet smell a little bit.
Yeah, those are called icks.
Yeah, but icks are that's not an excuse. An ick is not an excuse, because I have icks with certain people in my life that I love, and it's like, I'm gonna accept you, but fucking brother, ew.
But wait, that still continues off relationships, right? Can I bring in my own opinion between icks real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
I hate them. I hate them with a passion, only because every chronically online female that I've ever seen in my entirety of living on this planet that's ever mentioned an ick has only ever said, if you have this and this is my ick, I'm not being with you.
It's very small things, and it's like that's not something. And I feel like that's why relationships are failing because like just because I don't like that you eat that you don't eat seafood or don't eat Chinese food, which are my favorite things. Send me stuff if you guys want. But those are my favorite things, and that would be considered an ick because if I go out with you, I want to go out to like a Red Lobster because they're failing, and you can get unlimited shrimp, and they'll never stop you. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that's something that I'm willing to compromise with, and I feel like nobody's willing to compromise. So it's good because when we first started talking about this, I was like, it's cool to see that you know what you want and you're willing to walk away because a lot of y'all do not walk away. Y'all end up in the bushes outside of her house, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Trying to peek into her and see what she's talking to somebody. Like, stop with the acting crazy stuff, dude. Like,
I used to be like that actually.
I feel like everybody has that sense of loss and then they overreact, and then later on in life they're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have fucking climb through her window,
I feel like let me clarify, not that crazy. I would get obsessed, but not obsessed to the point where I'll stalk you. I would always be like, I'm an overthinker within a relationship, or even without a relationship.
I think we both are overthinkers too.
I'm an overthinker. So if let's say I'm talking to a female and 1 minute she's texting me like crazy, she's responding like crazy, next minute she's gone for like an hour, 2 hours. I start overthinking.
You start to get the
right.
I feel you. I understand that, and that's just gonna come with more experience. Not that saying you're not experienced. I'm saying like I had to really truly find myself in order for that stuff to stop. Because every man has that. We don't have a lot of options. We may be adorable and cute sometimes and look good, but there's always gonna be somebody better. And the minute that somebody can present something else to them,
closer to the ring. There you go.
The minute that somebody else, another higher value man, presents something that's more attractive to them, I feel like a lot of women jump ship. Whereas we're willing to deal with so much in regards to what we're willing to take, what we're willing to change. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you can't change him when it's a man." But we really do take into consideration y'all emotions. We really take into consideration and we try and change. But if we don't see the effort, it's just gonna get nowhere. Like, do you agree with that?
I do, but regarding the change stuff, like when females are like, you can't change him. In reality, when you really think about it, we change without you even trying to change us. We'll change for you, just to show you that we're willing to commit.
True.
And show our truthfulness, our honesty, our love for you. I don't understand. Sometimes it'll be too much for females.
There are certain situations where we're doing too much, quote unquote. But usually I feel like you do it in the best ways, because we've talked about everything. I feel like you do the right amount and you do the right thing. It's just the caliber of women that we decide to choose from. Because I know there's been some things where I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking changing. Like, I'm not doing that. But realistically, it should have been something that I compromised with. I was just stuck in my I'm fucking alpha male macho bullshit, and I refused to do it, and that's where relationships start to crumble. There's a lot of things to come into effect when it comes to stuff like that, like loss of attraction. These icks probably go hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Because the minute that you don't know how to dress, automatically everything else gets thrown under the table. And I just don't think that's fair. Girls, stop doing that to us, okay? We're trying.
We're making an attempt to actively show you how much we care. Although I do understand, I was just about to point out, I do understand some females, some males, a lot of them actually, are assholes. They can be dickheads, but...
I contest to that, because I was truly an asshole when I was in my fucking slut stage.
But the thing is, that's not everybody. You have to put in perspective that not everybody is out to get you. When a guy comes up to you showing niceness, occasionally, maybe it's because, they fuck with you, or maybe they don't. But they're not just doing it to be a dickhead, not all the time. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt most of the time.
Or being sleazy, because I just had a conversation with a girl at fucking Wawa last night. Her name was Aowen, which is dope, because that's from my favorite series, Lord of the Rings. And I'm standing in line. Everyone's being so mean to her. I go up to the line and pay for the hot chocolate for Dad, and I'm like, Aowen, why do I know that name? And like she was cool about it. Most girls would be like, don't fucking talk to me, I have a boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? Or call the police or taser you. Like there are generally good guys out there, and I just feel like the dynamic has always been women choose and guys lose. You know, because it's like we only have 3 selections. Let's say we only have 3 selections, 3 character selections in a video game. Whereas they have like the DLC. They can download somebody from over here and somebody from over there. It's just more options. And it's like, I think that's why we kind of get the shit under the stick, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, you were going back before saying about knowing when to walk away or knowing when you're not showing up present in a relationship. My last situationship, I knew that I wasn't showing up. I wasn't in a good situation. I wasn't in a good place mentally. And I found myself doing it as a nicety. You know what I'm saying? As like, I owe this to you. And that's where it starts to get like, gets rocky. Because I'm sitting there and I'm trying to explain to her like, yo, I'm not ready for a relationship. I'm not ready for a commitment. I'm not ready to do this. I don't want this. I want to focus on myself. And she just kept, but I like you. But yada, yada, yada. Like pushing until, and it wasn't like a ghost. Because I said earlier, like, yo, listen, I'm not in the position right now, and I'm not in the right state of mind to do this. I will bail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will bail. And I'll try to, I will explain it to you, obviously. I'm not just going to ghost somebody, but that's what ended up happening, you know, because it's like, I realized what type of, you know, caliber and what I bring to the table, and it's like I wasn't showing up properly. You know, so mad respect for that.
I think that's respect to you, 100%. That's showing that you care, even if you're willing to dip.
Yeah, it was like the person was she was attractive and everything like that. It was cool. I generally liked her. It was just this time frame, and everyone's like, right person, wrong time. I've had a lot of those. You know what I'm saying? Like you vibe with somebody really well, but it's like they just got out of a relationship, or you just like lost your job, or you had to move something. You know what I'm saying? Like there are situations, and I really feel like people try and compensate their situation with a relationship, and that's how they fuck things up. You know what I'm saying? So me being in the situation I was in was like, I'm gonna hurt this girl's feelings. You know, let me just be upfront about it and let them know it's too much pressure. I don't want to be committed, and let me just step away. Because that's how, you know, that's how the relationship with the mother of my child ended. You know, I didn't even know her. Like, I didn't know her at all. I had a child with her, and then said, okay, so it's ready to, I need to be present, so let me attempt to date her. That was completely wrong. That's like somebody on the street saying just because a girl is there, they should date them. You don't even know this person. Just because someone's giving you attention doesn't mean you should be like, I'm going to marry you. You know what I'm saying? It's just strange.
I wanted to bring back one of the things you said, but I had forgotten. It was I'm trying to backtrack because it was right. Okay, so you said something about like, fuck, I lost it again. What I was going to say was, I have a problem with it. Like I have a problem with not being able to stop. I forget what it was you said though.
Understand. Maybe it was knowing. Well, basically knowing when to stop. You can use that. You can utilize that in any conversation. Like knowing when you're doing too much, and knowing when to step away. Is that what we're talking about? I know that was one thing that I had said.
That was one of them, but that wasn't the thing. But I can go off of that.
Of course.
Like I know when to stop when it becomes too much.
Okay.
I can't just recognize that it needs to stop. Instead, I continue and I try to fix what I feel like either I broke or sometimes what they won't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from with that. I do. That's and that's not a bad thing. But I know what you're talking about as far as I'm like, I can fix this, let me fix this, let me fix this. All you guys have done that. I can fix this, let me fix this. Some of you take it to another degree, but I understand where Nev's coming from. It's like, I can fix it, just let me fix it. You know, even if, and I'm sure I can attest, I can attest to this. Even if the relationship doesn't end, even if the relationship does end, you at least want the chance to fix things. Does that make sense? Is that something that, or you always?
Yes, actually,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
Even after me and Ray had broken up, I felt guilty. I'm not gonna lie, I'd done some things in that relationship that I felt was wrong. Like, I shouldn't have done them.
Everybody has those moments.
But even after, I didn't even block her after I broke up with her. I was like, hey, we could still be friends. If anything, you could text me when you need me. I still care about you, but I just don't see you in that way anymore. You know what I'm saying? But after a bit, I was starting to realize having her in my messages and just seeing a message like that
was like
pop
a
up,
trigger.
It'll exactly, and it'll like trigger anxiety or something like that. And so I had gotten some advice from friends and from people that I had talked to saying block her, tell whatever. And I didn't want to do that just abruptly. So I told her, I was like, hey, I think we should block each other, and the feeling was mutual. But then she pulled a bunch of stunts after the block.
Yeah, I remember you were. I remember we sat through that. We talked about that.
And I felt that just wasn't necessary. If we were both out of each other's lives on all social media, by the way, all social media, we were both blocked. Supposed to be, at least. But somehow she comes back on a whole different account and does a bunch of other stuff.
And that's another thing. I got stalked for a while on a fake account, just because how the relationship ended. She had done wrong. It's weird because I don't believe in blocking, and I understand where you're coming from. I have blocked people before because it hurt too much, but I always try to leave that situation. I try and leave the door open unless you did me dirt, like buried me dirt 7 feet deep. I always try and keep that communication open because you never know. I'm not one to get back with exes. I've done it. It's always turned out the same way because once somebody tells me they don't want me, I had to learn to be like, okay, and then be like, fine, that's fine. We don't have to converse anymore. We don't have to talk. I'm not gonna be passive aggressive because I do truly feel that the memories you built, like the one that I'm always talking about, Kay, taught me so much. There's no way in hell I would have ever blocked her because she gave me a lot of information for me to be able to be a father to my daughter. And that was fucking like, I took that and like, there's always going to be love for her, But I understand if it's like, you did the right thing and you know that you did the right thing because the minute that you guys decided to block, she came out of left field with some fake ass account trying to do you dirt, you know what I mean? Trying to throw shit in your face, whatever the case was that she did. That was a terrible person. That's why I go back to when you leave a relationship, you can kind of tell who kind of had like ill intentions because it's either going to be the guy coming out of left field doing some weird stalking stuff and like texting friends and showing up and hiding in bushes, or the female's going to do some. It's almost like they're hurting in the relationship too when you guys split. The man hurts a lot more, I think, because we don't have that many options out there, and we always feel like we need to succeed. So if we get dumped by a good-looking girl and then they start dating afterwards, it crushes our self-esteem. That just makes sense. But a lot of the females are hurting as well, and on the nights that they're not getting attention from their new significant other or their friends or their social group, that's when the "I'm just checking on you" comes. Hey, hope you're doing all right. Sorry we broke up. And that stuff is something that I don't tolerate. That shit hurts. That's a trigger in itself. Leave me alone. You told me you don't want me. Leave me alone. You've gotten messages like that, I assume?
No.
After the breakups, it's like, you're feeling good. You're out for ice cream. We're playing Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, and then you get a text. Hey, I was thinking about you. That's never happened to you?
No, but I have felt that with different kinds of like messages. Recently I told you about the situation with the check thing. I'm not going to get into details because public.
No, you're absolutely right.
But it involved an ex of a while ago, over a year ago. And she, after the whole thing was situated, I think a month passes by and she texts me again. I think she texted me saying like, hey, that whole thing was illegal. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I can't take it to court. Everything was already situated. She was like, I'm not talking about court. I just want to know proof. I want to see proof.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of caught off guard by that.
Well, yeah, because it was out of pocket. Like she didn't have to. It's like if you want to talk to me, hey, I want to talk to you. Can we talk? I miss you.
Right, but it wasn't anything bad. She just as far as I got it, she just wanted proof because her friend was like, oh, what if he just wanted to talk to you? What if he was lying about it? So I understood. I sent her the proof, and I told her if you ever need to speak with me, I don't have any hate against you or anything. Just let me know.
It does, and that does happen. Like people do use, like, hey, you left your hair clip here. You want to come and get it, like. And when he says illegal, he doesn't mean like anything crazy happened. There was no law enforcement. It was just there was a discrepancy with some paperwork, and then he wanted to show her, and that was it. It wasn't like illegal, like
nothing crazy.
Fucking burn the house down or something like that. But people do use that, and that's another thing because this is why I'm not on the fence anymore with Kay. Because she taught me a lot and all that stuff, and I was like, you know what? If she ever really wanted to give it a second shot, I would try. I'm not gonna wait. Don't get me wrong, because I don't believe in waiting. When someone tells me I'm not ready, okay, well then go take that over there. And I don't really want it. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm always gonna wonder whether or not you're going to be ready, or if you're choosing me as a last resort. I'm not a last resort. I'm first place, and that's maybe egotistical, but that's how you have to be in this dating world. But everything was cool, and I said I will leave this open because I know that I made mistakes, just like you said. I made mistakes in a relationship, and I will always leave that communication open because I loved her, and I still do have love for her. For what she taught me. Until she popped out of left field and tried to use my daughter to get in with me. Like it was something along the lines of like, I miss your daughter. I always think about her, but I wasn't allowed to talk to her or you because of my current relationship. And I thought no one's gonna stop me from communicating with somebody I love, whether it be me or my daughter. I would have kept that signal open because she was a great mother figure. And had I fallen for that, I would have been in the dumps, because 3 days later, you know how everyone switches their profile picture when they break up. So when she was in a bad state of mind, that's our older brother yelling. So when she was
fuck off.
Spiders. He's actually sleeping. That's just how he sleeps now. So when she was in a bad state of mind and in the dumps and just broken up with the relationship that she was in now, then she felt the need to contact me and my daughter. No,
don't even try at that point.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I understand where the ex was coming from on your part. Like, oh, maybe he's just trying to see me, especially when you're dating, like you're in the younger category dating, like your early 20s and stuff like that. It is a lot of mind games because they don't know how to function as people. That's why dating older, like me and my dating group, it's so much easier because it's like, what do you want? Oh, I want this, that, and that. I don't want that. Okay, no hard feelings. High five. And whereas when you guys do it as in a younger dating scene, it's like, oh, what's because you like fucking Samantha better, or it's because he's a Chad or whatever, whatever it is. Like,
what I don't understand is even if it was like, oh, what if he wants to see me? Wouldn't I have kept messaging you after the whole situation?
I would say I believe in no contact. So it's like, and I feel like every guy's done it. Please, please, what did I do? You. And that's fine. I get it. You have the emotions, but bro, you were just making yourself unattractive. You know what I'm saying? And even as another guy, if I tell some dude, yo, I don't want to hang out with you, and then you message me like, yo, that's messed up. I miss you. Let me come over. Yeah. And like, even as a friendship wise, it's like, just give me space. I told you I don't like you. I told you I don't want to be with you. Give me space. A lot of guys will take it to the extreme. Please. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the communication cutoff, right? I understand cutting the communication just so everybody can heal and stay away from each other. Eventually, either one side's going to be like, yo, yeah, I'm glad that this happened. Or the other side's going to say, I'm glad this happened, I'm keeping this going. Or you're both going to say, yo, this is fucking terrible. Like, I miss you, you were my person. But nobody gives that time. Because it's always, oh, well, you did this. And you were having a situation where somebody was like, well, you did this and you did this. And you're like, yo, I wasn't even accusing you. Right? Remember?
Yeah.
I was just trying to talk to you. That's when you knew, and we talked about it. It was like, yeah, there's some type of separation. You know what I'm saying?
That's initially when I was like, maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I should back off. And that's exactly what I did. I backed off heavily.
Yeah, we talked about it.
With the person that I was initially trying to speak to, or it turned into basically a situationship. She wasn't ready, but she didn't. She made it clear, but she also didn't. So to me, I didn't know if I should continue or not. And the only hint that I was getting was, if you want to. And I wanted to, so I continued, but it was obvious that it wasn't the right thing to do.
Right.
So I backed off heavily, and now when I text that person, it's just kind of like awkward and dry. So I'm just giving up completely at this point.
But we talked about that as like, I feel like no one's gonna get the better of me, and if you've already proven to me that I'm not wanted, not just by the situation between me and you, but outside situations, and I start to realize, like, hey, maybe this person doesn't like me as much as I think they do. The minute that happens, I'm either going to go with the flow or I'm going to cut it off. 90% of the time, I'm going to cut it off because I'm not stupid. I've been around for a while, and I can know when attraction has dropped, and I'm not going to sit around and wait for somebody who's not ready for me. You know what I'm saying? Because there's like this theory where if you text too much back and forth, you're gonna get bored because you get used to it. Right? I've had people text me constantly, and I'm like, okay, yeah, laugh at your meme, laugh at your GIF. Here's a GIF back, and then I don't want this person to text me anymore. So I understand as a man, I don't have many options, but I get that feeling, that ick. Women definitely get that ick because the minute they get bored with one person, they can just, post a pic, and they'll have 10 new options in their DMs,
Or the options that they already had.
Lingering, because a lot of y'all linger. I have a friend of mine who I've known for 17 years. She's fucking gorgeous. She's cool people, but I've never initiated any type of sexual energy or any type of sexual thing towards her because that's my friend. You know what I mean? That's the female figure that could be in my daughter's life without me having to be like, do you like me? You know what I'm saying? Let's go get ice cream. So.
You know what? Speaking of like, still continuing that topic, I had a coworker tell me recently, I'm not going to drop any names, that...
Of course not. Nobody even knows us.
He... Before he got into the relationship with his fiance that he's in right now, he was in a long, like, 10-year relationship. But that relationship eventually went down the shitter. So, with the person that he knew along those 10 years, he spoke to her, and they ended up getting together. They had a kid. You know what I'm saying? But he was telling, I was looking at him, and I got the impression, I was like, was that like your side or something? And he was like, yeah, kinda. It kind of worked out though, and I was like, all right, well, I don't know if that's a little odd.
But that's not okay. I don't agree with what your coworker did because I know that when I'm in a relationship, I'm committed, right?
No, he was committed.
I know, but having people around that have sexual energy towards me, you can tell. You should be able to tell. The way once you start to read people, and then you read different genders, you can tell if a man don't like you because of the way he operates and the way he moves around you and the less that he says to you. But when I've seen females that have been flirting with me or giving me that energy, and I'm in a relationship, I automatically know it's not going to make my girlfriend comfortable. So it's either I'm going to have a talk with that person or I'm going to limit my time around them. And don't get me wrong, you should be able to talk to whoever you want. But I've always said, when there's a floating friend, male friend, especially if it's like an ex, because I've had that happen too, a floating male that just, because you're a guy, that the way that he's talking to your girlfriend is not cool. It's one thing to have conversations, going out and like double dating, friend groups and stuff like that, cool. But I'll be damned if you're taking my girlfriend to a movie by yourselves. You see what I'm saying? And it's not anything like possessiveness or territorial. I just don't think that that's okay. I know that you've known that person, but I'm supposed to be somebody who you confide in, and special moments are supposed to happen between me and you. I'm just personally not okay with you having special moments one-on-one with the opposite gender. And I know that's going to get some backlash. But I just know that I would never be like, hey, babe, what's going on? Me and Samantha, my friend for 17 years, are going to go hang out in the movie theater by ourselves or go get some dinner. And like, that wouldn't fly with the woman, right?
No.
It doesn't fly with us. And I know that there's some jealousy. Like, when there's situations where guys will text, like, dick pics or, like, hey, what's up, beautiful? Like, we can sit there and vibe and laugh about that. You know, and be like, yo, send him this. Send him a picture of my asshole. That's fine, you know. But if I'm not showing up as a man, I don't think it's right for you to go and get that attention from your coworker. Have to talk with me. And if I do the wrong thing, if I continue to not show up and be present, I get it. I get why you dropped me. It's always a good thing to know that what you did wrong in the relationship. But it's just like having hovering exes or having hovering people as a backup, that's just gross. I think it's gross.
I've never had... Okay, I can't say never, but I don't have exes as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Or just friends in general.
But I have an ex as a friend, or I've had exes as friends, and most of the time, I'm not gonna lie, does not work out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. I wouldn't recommend it anymore. But I do have one ex that I stay in contact with that is a friend, and merely a friend and nothing more. And I know this because I feel nothing towards them other than friendship. I've had I've dated them before. You know, I've had my little relationship issues, whatever, with them. But we've known each other for so long that, you know, it is what it is. We can be able to talk to each other about anything, you know, but I'm not going to go one-on-one anywhere with them.
Right.
I'm not going to do anything like that with them.
And you should explain to your current girlfriend, like, hey, this person's going to be around. Just like, you know, your girlfriend does to us, you know, like, or girlfriends do to us. Like, that's my best friend. I'll never do anything with him. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you're your own person. But there's levels to this shit. What did Meek Mill? Was it Meek Mills that said that? There's levels to it.
I don't know,
Whoever it was.
I know he got in some shit with Diddy.
Yeah, whoa.
That's another podcast.
He just comes out the closet. Hey, what's up? Nigga, you supposed to be in jail. I heard somebody say love. I'm here to love. But yeah, it's like, dude, there's just certain ways to operate. That's why I don't like going on social media and like going on debates like, was this girl wrong for inviting her ex to her wedding? If you and your ex are friends like that and you guys I can't tell you whether or not the relationship is still sexual or not. I know I said you can tell sometimes. But just like you said, you would never think about doing anything with that ex, right? But your girlfriend doesn't know that. But if she trusted you enough and you were like, yo, she's going to be invited to the wedding, bring him. Does he have a significant other? Or is he going to show up with a gun and shoot me? Oh, he has a significant other. I've known her. She's a friend. Like, cool. Bring him.
She has a significant other, and he also has a gun.
Yeah, and he also has, and she has a gun too, dude. It's weird. The babies have guns and
just to clarify, I'm not in a relationship.
Yeah.
Not in a relationship.
Neither am I because, fuck that. It's getting weird out there. The X alone, it's like, I get X, but I'll power through them, bro.
There's too many
options.
Not even that. There's too much going on in the relationship genre. Like, before, it was just date whoever you want, you know what I'm saying? And they'll like you or they won't like you, whatever. But now it's like, you gotta have this, that, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and maybe the sixth. I'll accept it if you don't.
I've never had shallow girls. Like, I have a particular female that I go for. But I will step outside my box sometimes. Sometimes. It's a very small step. Because you should go for what you like. I will step outside of my box because I'm not shallow. I've dated girls that you would consider bums to girls that you would consider could be high value CEO type women. Boss bitches, you know what I mean? Like these quote unquote boss bitches. And boss bitches isn't wearing a mini skirt and drinking a fucking fifth of tequila. You know what I'm saying? A boss bitch is, she handles herself, she handles her car payments, she handles all of her payments. She don't fucking need you, but she wants you around. You see what I'm saying? Whereas bums will like you, they'll want to be with you, they find you attractive, but they can honestly, let's be real, they can go sleep on somebody else's couch. You know what I'm saying? Not that that's what happened, but essentially, you know, you meet somebody who's down and out, and then they leech on you, you know, like a parasitic thing. Like I was telling you about the one situationship that some people can be damaged and they just want the attention because it's easy access. They don't care if it hurts you, and they may feel bad about it, but they're getting what they need. You know, fueling their fire. But
I feel like it's really hard in the relationship genre to find anyone of someone else's nature.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. Elaborate. Sorry, I gotta take this. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good.
Why? I love you, you bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
I feel like it's hard to let's say I told you try to go for my type, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, that'd be illegal.
That's not what I meant.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I'm 18.
You're 18, yeah.
So it wouldn't be illegal regardless. But by my type, I mean, like, for example, skinny, chubby,
big
nice. Whoa. Nice, kind, funny. You know what I'm saying? But that's like completely opposite to your type.
Yeah, I go for a bitch that'll pull a switchblade on you.
Okay, but if I were to tell you to do that with someone else in the Generation Z, they would say, big, masculine, furry, this, that, and the third.
Furry,
no offense, but like, come on, like they go for 300 stat, and everyone's always complaining about, oh, I can't find this, I can't find that.
You're aiming too high.
You're giving yourself too much of an ego.
And this isn't a body shaming thing or anything, but like look at your, like when they say look at you and look at me, you should really do that because you should be able to sense a shallow person, a person who's only out there for the likes and for the validation. You're absolutely right, for the ego trip. I don't want that person. I could be pretty popular on social media and be pretty popular on the streets. I don't need that person to be like riz me up, like, oh, look at me. Like, no, you're absolutely right. You're right.
Like,
you guys require too much to feel love or to feel validated, in my opinion.
I have my own like traits and what I want in a person.
Feet pics.
No.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm going.
Feet pics?
No, you send those to me. I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I have my own traits to a person that I would like.
Of course.
But even then, I would let some of those slip by because you can't find a perfect person. There's no such thing as a perfect
You're
person.
absolutely right.
You have to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, even if you know it's not going to work.
Do you think girls do that? Or they always go
No.
for it? I think they do that when they've been hurt enough, which is also not okay because you could have been being treated well all this time. Just because a person has a boat, oh, you pretty. Just because a person has a boat doesn't make them a better person, or just because Chad plays the guitar doesn't mean he's a lover. He'll probably hit you. He'll probably swing the guitar on you and hit you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going for, and even my generation was going for the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? Rappers. That's why I'm a rapper. No, I am a rapper. Plug it
right here.
Just cover my face.
Right here.
No, but like.
What's your SoundCloud? I'll put it right here.
No, they don't want my SoundCloud. It's just a bunch of yeet.
That is not it at all.
I know. We'll share some on the podcast later. But yeah, it's like, dude, a lot of fucking, it's just a lot of like, I need you to be this, but I'm not willing to be this. You know what I'm saying? I need you to be all the way up here, but I only have this much. And I'm not shaming people, but like, I only do so much. But I expect you to be up here. No, thank you, yo. The minute that I realize that I'm not for somebody, for myself, if I start looking around and I'm like, this isn't right. This is making me feel bad. Like, I don't feel good. This isn't making me feel like happy how I'm supposed to. Cutting it. I don't need much, and I think that I go for a certain type of female, like the alternative. Like, cause I'm a product of trauma, not. Just in general, my entire life, like I had a great upbringing. It was great. You know, my father did amazing things to succeed and showed me how to succeed as a man and showed me how to be a high caliber man. But yeah, like I go for a certain caliber of female, you know, like because I'm a product of trauma. Even though it wasn't so bad, I've had my issues with not having a mother. My father did his best. He was great. He was amazing. You know, he showed me how to be a man. He showed me how to take that initial step and how to operate in the world, and I love him for that. I appreciate him for that. But I have my own traumas not having a mother, so I go for a certain type of a woman. I think it's because I can sense the trauma, and it's something along the lines of like, you'll understand me because you know as well as maybe not as well as everybody else, but you know me most. I'm pretty hard like nut to crack. Would you think? Like I'm a pretty different person from everybody else.
I like to think so. When I speak to you, obviously because I'm family and you know we talk a lot, it's a whole different thing. But when I see you speak to like, for say a stranger, you're always like so sociable,
Mm-hmm.
but you won't like bring anything that'll spark a long conversation.
Yeah, and I think that's there's different ways. There's people who are avoidant, and there's people who are attached. And sometimes when people are attached, they want that connection. When people are detached or avoidant, like I believe I am, I'm gonna make you laugh. Like you've been in public with me plenty of times, dude. We have a ball when we have out there. I'm always like pushing the envelope of social.
You push grandmas off the step. No,
Oh, yeah. Give me your Percocets, girl. No, but like I always push the envelope of conversations because these people are having terrible days. I know because I've had terrible days. And then you have a whole line of people who are just being terrible, and it's like I'm gonna pull some. I'm an Aries. So it's like that's my zodiac sign. I do, but we're gonna get on that later.
I like the thoughts and like having to match them. Because I'm a Virgo and I'll see things like, oh, you're gonna be rich and this and the third, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I don't believe it.
But there's true, and I don't like that premonition shit. Because like reading your horror story, like I could make up my horoscope, and just like follow that religiously. That's somebody just writing it. But I like the idea because you're a gamer. I sometimes game. I like the idea of having. I was born under a sign. Like in Skyrim, you're born under the thief sign. Like now I can turn invisible, motherfucker. Like that's awesome. Like I think it goes hand in hand sometimes, and that's weird because I've known you your whole life, and it's like I didn't know you were a Virgo because we just celebrate. We didn't. So we don't talk about that because we vibe regardless. But that'd be really interesting to check how our relationship is. Because it's not like we're not dating. It's different too. When it comes to astrological signs, you can befriend one and they might complement each other. But if you date them, ooh, that's a shit show. I usually go for Aries.
Really?
Yeah. I usually go for Aries because like fire sign and fire sign. But you're actually an earth sign. I'm a fire sign. So we shouldn't be compatible. Like our friendship, because we're brothers, but our friendship, it can balance itself out somewhat. But it's just a matter of the personality too. So astrological signs really don't mean much, but to me they kind of mean a lot. You know what I mean? But I think we did a pretty good session. We're gonna go ahead and end this on the relationship stuff going on today. You had something you wanted to bring up for next week?
Right. Next week, I think we should definitely go on the topic of like influencers and the community not the community, but what's been going on within the community of influencers. Like for example, Jack Doherty. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I have. I've seen him. He's like a stubby little guy. He looks like a thumb. He looks like a thumb, right? He's rich,
him and the drama between KSI, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast.
I don't know who KSI is, but I know the last name Paul. Logan Paul is the boxer?
Yeah.
Okay. Jake Paul is the other guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know Mr. Beast because of his chocolate.
Wait, I think I'm wrong. Logan Paul's not the boxer. That's Jake Paul. Logan Paul's the Prime energy drink guy.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. That makes more sense. I've heard the name, but I'm excited. I mean, I'm not really a big social influencer person, like listening to their drama and stuff, but it's gonna be good, I think.
Yeah, we'll get into a lot of that in the next podcast next week. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We had a lot of fun recording this.
It was a little rocky,
yeah.
But we're just starting. We're trying to get the vibe between each other because although we hang out outside of this thing, we wanted to bring it to you guys, it was fun. I enjoyed myself.
I did too.
That's good.
I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm really glad. But thanks again. Our social links, or mine at least, will be right there.
Cross my grill.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
And I'm pretty much just Muggzey on everything.
Yeah, he's Muggzey on everything.
Muggzey, which I guess is Muggzey, but all fancy like that.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Speak easy, y'all.